Hello everyone, my name is Anoluwa Paul and I am a senior client advisor at Magna Visa and Immigration Consultancy. And today we'll be discussing the topic, what do you do to avoid visa refusal? And with me on this call, I have my colleague.
Hi, I'm Osai. I'm a senior client advisor at Magna as well. So today we're going to just be taking you through on a few things that you need to know about how a visa application works and how to avoid getting a refusal. So it's just going to be basically us directing you on how it works. Nothing too tedious, nothing too out of the ordinary. We're just going to dive in and try to make it as explanatory as possible so you can understand what we're trying to say. Okay, so when people get their visas, when people get into their visa application, they always often make a certain kind of mistake on what they need to do to start their visa application going. And those are the kind of things that plays a role in your visa application getting refused. So number one thing you need to do or you need to know is you need to start planning in time. You need to start planning early because there's no, oh, I'm not ready to travel yet, let me just relax. You need to start planning in time. Even if you're not ready to travel, you need to speak to a professional and start planning ahead so that you can have all the things in place, because those are the little things that make people get their refusals. You need to be 100% honest with your travel consultant every time you're doing a visa application, in as much as the questions looks like they're a lot and you get tired of, questions they're asking me about this, why are they asking me about my finances, why are they asking me how much I earn. Those are a bit personal questions, but those are questions that you actually need to be able to express an answer to your travel consultant, because those are the important things that we put in your visa application. So you need to be 100% honest with your travel consultant when you're applying for a visa. You need to also know how to discuss your travel options with your travel consultant. It could be that sometimes you may not know what you want to do. Sometimes you just know you want to travel, but you don't necessarily know what you want to do or how you want to go about it. So always be comfortable enough to share with your travel consultant what you would want to do and discuss with them possible plan. If it's a study route, if it's a work route, if it's a visit you want to just visit, you need to be able to be explanatory to your travel consultant so they can explore all the options for you. You also need to know that your documentation needs to be accurately done. You need to put your documentation in place, in as much as you want to be in a rush to do things or you want to be a bit laid back in doing things. Your document needs to be accurately done, because those are the things that plays a role in your visa application. You need to be responsive and cooperative with your travel consultant as well, because the travel consultant doesn't know all the things that are going on in your life. So when they ask you a question or there's some specific information they require from you, you need to be able to be responsive, because some questions and answers require they are time bound. So your application is ongoing and they ask you a question regarding the application. You need to be very responsive to your travel consultant. And also for cases where you are going for your visa interview, you need to also know that for all visas interview, you have to be very calm and be able to answer your questions accurately.
Okay, thank you for that, Osai. So I will just add to what my colleague has said. What I always say applicants is this: when you want to apply for a new visa, there are things you need to just put in mind. Firstly, once you've picked the location you're going to, or the category of visa you want to apply for, the next thing is your checklist. And when I talk about the checklist, I mean like the documents you have to collate together. I always tell people that people that review applications, like, they are human beings too. Do you understand? They are not robots, they're human beings. So when putting an application, sometimes just put in an application that you think, if I'm the one to review this application, how would I see this application?
True.
So in terms of documentation, in terms of documents you put, you need to put the accurate document. Don't falsify documents, because that's what we always tell applicants. Some people say, okay, for the application, let's put this, let's put that. When it bounces back, you still come back to your drawing board and you still have to put the right thing. And also, I always tell people, when you're applying for a visa, make sure you put the impression to the reviewing officer. Make sure you don't give them the impression that, okay, for a visiting visa, let me talk about the visiting visa. Make sure you don't put the impression of, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be coming back, I don't know if I'm going to be staying. That's one major thing we always see with refusal cases. You say, it's okay, I doubt to be going back to your home country. That's one common reason. So when you're going for a visiting visa, make sure you put it like, okay, I'm coming to visit and that's it, and I'll be back to my home country. So that's why when you're putting your application, you make sure that your employment status is fully established well, and you put your supporting documents try and prove all your ties to your home country. That's meaning what will bring you back to your home country. And also, if you're going for the student route, I know one major thing is always finances. Make sure, that's why I always ask people to plan ahead. If you know you're going to be traveling for your study next year, now is the time to start putting in documents together. Now is the time to start planning ahead of that. So when it comes to visa application, just make sure you are as honest as possible, and also when you're speaking with your travel consultant, be as open as possible. Any little information can just change the whole dynamic of your application. So make sure you don't leave any loophole, anything that you know that can contradict what you're presenting and what you would say at your interview. Make sure that everything tallies together. Always make sure that your documents are in line. So that's why we always say, before any planned trip, always speak to a consultant that can, put you through on what to do and how to put your documents together. And I always tell people, we have some clients where they will come to us like, okay, I want to apply for this visa, and then you advise them, oh no, I just want to put it now. I would always advise people, it's better for you to get the advice, go back to the drawing board, put all the documents you need to put, then come back and apply. Because if you apply now, you get a refusal, you still go back again and put all the documentation in place. So the first thing is, speak to your consultant, have a blueprint, have a plan, then work towards your plan.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Anu, for that. And we also mentioned that we're going to explain to you the importance of adhering to immigration rules while you're there. So what you need to understand is different countries differ with different immigration rules. So when you're applying for a visa application, irrespective of the type of visa you're applying for, you need to be able to understand the rules of immigration regarding that country. The first thing, number one, like my colleague said, do not falsify any documents. Every time you falsify a document, it always comes back to haunt you, regardless. One way or another, it creeps in, and then you have no defense because you know that you actually falsified the document. So you need to read and understand the immigration rule specified for your visa type, and don't try to find a loophole. If a rule says this should not go, it does not go. Do not find a loophole and think I can find my way around it. If I go quiet on this, maybe they won't notice. No, don't find a loophole. That's the problem and the crisis already. It always backfires. Don't neglect to mention you have any previous refusals before. Don't think because you don't say it, they won't know. No, it's already interprets the mindset that you are trying to create a false identity of yourself. If you have a visa refusal before, feel free to state it. The important thing is you're able to clarify the reasons for the refusal in your current application. And one thing we always tell clients that no matter what, do not overstay your visa duration. Do not overstay your visa duration, no matter what, regardless of, something happened. What if you're going to overstay? You need to notify the authorities that this is the reason why you're overstaying. Don't overstay and pretend that they won't notice, because when you're applying for the next time, it may come back to haunt you. Right? So you need to understand that certain countries have different immigration rules and you need to adhere to them. There's no backdoor. There is no pretense. There's no, I didn't know this was, no, there's nothing like that. You are telling them that you are applying for a visa type, so you understand what the visa type entails, because the information is obviously there for you to see. So you cannot pretend like you didn't see it and expect it to go away. Right? So after getting your visa, so when you do all this right, when you do all the things right, yes, 100%, nobody guarantees a visa. There's nobody that will tell you if you do all these things 100%, you just get the visa. It doesn't happen. There's a probability that you may or you may not. At the end of the day, we always say this to all our clients: the decision to getting the visa reside in the reviewing officer, and that's the immigration officer handling your application. What you can do is to make sure that you do all the things properly right. You dot your I's, you cross your T's, that everything is accurately done, your document, your checklist, everything is properly done, so you can have that satisfaction that you did your part, and then it gives you a better chance. But if you don't do your part and you expect it to just magically happen, it can't always work like that. So after you get your visa, your next thing to do is to try to plan your trip to travel. But most importantly, for you to have all of this in place, you need to speak to a professional. You cannot do it on your own. You need to speak to a professional to make sure that you have everything in place before you start your application. So avoid any visa refusals. So, and do you have anything else you want to share?
So I'll just be rounding it up here. Okay. So like my colleague has said it all. So when applying for a visa, make sure you put in the right documents. Make sure you put documents that are true and not falsified. Because like she said, there's just this natural feeling when you've done the right thing, you've put in the right documents, even if you don't get the positive answer you're looking for. There's this assurance you have in you that, okay, I did my best.
Mm-hmm.
But in cases where you were falsifying documents, some documents are not true, you're not back saying why. Because not all embassies or not all countries give you like the main or the particular reason for that refusal. Some people do, some they might just give you generic answers. So that's why we say put in the right documents. And like we said, speak to the professional. So that's why we are here at Magna, immigration and consultancy company. That's what we do. You can meet us. We'll put you through. If you need to speak to us, any advice, we even offer advisory service whereby you're planning for a trip ahead. Speak to us now. We can walk you through on what you need to put ahead of the visa application to have a positive outcome.
Yeah.
So, no, like we always say, be very honest, be very upfront. Any little information can just change the dynamic of your application. That's what we're asking now. Speak to us, and then just plan ahead of your trip. We hope to see you some other time.
Yeah, we're here for you.
We're here for you always. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye.